what we want to achieve is partnership. And we used to think of partnership as really people receiving services and the service providers and OPWDD, that was the partnership between those three constituencies. But now, when we got back together more recently in 2019, we said, we need to look outward. We need to see ourselves as part of the whole broader community, and see many. And then when we do that, we see many partners, government, community, community organizations, community causes and movements. Everybody that's in the community is a potential partner to us. Foundations. So we're trying to move beyond just thinking about how things work inside the service system. That's really not truly, inclusive. So true inclusion, which is what we say in our mission, means being a full part of one's community. And so if we don't connect with the whole community, then that's not consistent with the vision that we have for our coalition and for our society.
And I would say not to eliminate, the advocacy that people with developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities are doing, people who are mental health advocates and what they're doing. We're not trying to, put that all together. We want them to recognize each other for what they're doing and build on that. So we want to be able to recognize everything that agencies, systems, and people that are provided services through those agencies and systems a chance to have a voice and a chance to work together.
Right. You can't have partnership unless everyone has a voice. And the concept of partnership really suggests that there be an equal strength in those voices. And so I think that's part of our mission, Michael, is to make sure that we do whatever we can to support people in having a voice.
Collaboration. I've been trying to aim for the same thing as an advocate. And all of you advocates, like you two, you've been doing excellent work in your partnership.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And I want to continue with the next question. And again, I have a feeling you talked about it earlier and I didn't understand it much because I was too focused with the other question. I will ask this question. How do you carry out your mission?
Yeah, and I think I would just sort of reflect back on some of the things we touched on, Michael. We really spend time discussing and looking to find out by reaching out to people, what are the most important concerns that people have who are living with disabilities? What are the biggest barriers they face? What are the biggest concerns that are maybe interfering with their ability to live their dreams? And then we focus on those issues, try to develop try to express a perspective on it that the coalition can embrace, a position. In the past, we've sometimes written white papers to really articulate an important position that we might have embraced as a coalition. And what's important about that is it's not just one person's point of view, it's a collective point of view. That matters greatly when you think about the concept of the coalition, because now there's a broader base of support for whatever that might be. And then we try to highlight that so that people can become aware of it and act on it. And one of the ways we encourage action is by recognizing best practice. So when an organization or a person is doing something really outstanding, and one of the ways we've recognized people is at Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day. We have given out annual awards for many years to providers who have been doing an exceptional job in giving people a voice, involving people in decisions, and helping people to lead the lives that they want to lead. So that's really how I would answer that question.
Wow. A lot of important tasks and work to take care of for this mission of yours. A whole lot of effort. And I have to admit, determined.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. And I have a feeling you answered it earlier, of course, and I didn't understand it much. I'm sorry. Here's the question.
No problem.
What was the focus for the partnership coalition during the COVID-19 pandemic? I'm sure you mentioned that.
Yeah, basically what we ended up doing was a survey to get information from people with disabilities on how they were, what they wanted, what they needed, and what they did get, and what they didn't get. And that was not just people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, but all disabilities.
Yeah, and we mentioned some of the things about that survey a little earlier, Michael, but we also learned from what went well for people. So a lot of people reported that because they had access to the internet, because they had a device that was working for them, they were able to maintain contact with people that they cared about and were missed seeing in person, but could have that connection virtually. They expressed how great it was that they could go to their counseling appointment or their doctor's appointment online, virtually, and maybe wouldn't have been able to get there otherwise. And so, for some people who said, I didn't have technology in that way, I was really isolated and lonely, depressed. We also heard from people that had a good experience, and it just further helped us to appreciate the value of technological access and tools that are user friendly, that people could utilize to maintain human connection. So same with staffing. Some people it worked out okay for them, but others it did not. And for those who were able to maintain their connection with staff, and by the way, many people reported they were able to do that virtually. The staff maybe couldn't come to their apartment, for instance, because of COVID restrictions, but they could check in with them, via Zoom, and on an iPad. And so we really saw how much this mattered to people and how much of a difference it made, and how detrimental it was for people who, for one reason or another, unfortunately didn't have that. And so it just encouraged us to make that a key issue. We've been aware of it historically, but it just reinforced and maybe even intensified our focus on the issue of technology for people with disabilities.
Because, Michael, technology isn't just, people with intellectual developmental disabilities that don't have internet themselves. It's about who has internet in the community, and people with disabilities are part of that community. So one of the things that we are going to look at and have a discussion about is people with disabilities in the community, no matter where they live, if it's a group home, or they live independently, or with their families, or what have you, and look at their access and how they interact with online community, and have access to that community to talk to people and be educated and be able to talk to their doctors. And even though we had positive and negative feedback during the surveys, we know that that is a challenge. It was a challenge in the past, and it is still a challenge today.
Definitely. And you know what, Michael, I think this has profound implications for funders and regulators. Really, even now to the current day, we haven't seen technology treated as a necessity when it comes to supports and services for people with disabilities. We saw some positive change during the pandemic, especially with more allowance of telehealth and things like that. But we still don't really see the complete shift in regulations that really conveys that this is a normal part of everyday life for citizens in our society, and people with disabilities are further marginalized if they don't have the access that Sam is talking about. And so the funders, who provide funding for people, and the rules and regulations that say, what people should get and things like that, need to be brought up into the current day. It's right now the regulations tend to treat technology as something, it's nice to have, but it's not a necessity. It's kind of the way the regulations and funders predominantly look at it based on what's in place. But that needs to change. And so that's, advocacy is the way to get that to change.
I have to say. So in other words, there were some good results for Partnership Coalition during the pandemic. Some people with disabilities had some struggles, maybe even during in-person, but while being isolated, some of the technology they were provided with helped them with their life, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of, we would never, we would never want to have a pandemic. It was, meant a lot of, unfortunate struggles for many people, and for some, meant, terrible health problems or even death. So, none of that was good at all, of course. The silver lining is we learned some things that can help to make lives better going forward.
Mm-hmm. So with that, and I'm happy to hear how you guys were able to, handle helping people with disabilities during the pandemic, I will read you the next question. My next question is, what key issues are you trying to help with now?
Right now, we are focused on, and I mentioned this prior, is the staffing crisis for the direct support professionals that work within the agencies, and the home health care crisis as well for the people that live independently that rely on home health care aides to help them throughout the day and get up in the morning and go to bed at night and eat dinner, So we have those perspectives that we are working on. That the Partnership Coalition will talk about in the future to see how we want to support this, in what way are we going to support this, and hopefully whatever we decide, that we can be a piece of change when it comes to personal care aid service and direct support professionals.
And I think one of the things that helps the coalition to have a credible voice is that, many of our members also experience some of the very issues that we're talking about. So they know firsthand what it means for them, and they're able to really give it, the best possible voice. And that, again, that goes back to the concept of partnership. People have to come together, and you have to have people involved who personally understand and appreciate what the issues mean to people, because they know it firsthand.
You guys had a whole lot of process to take care of in order to handle those issues. You're really trying to help with those issues as best you can. Am I right?
Right. And it's not just me and Jeff. There's many people that are part of the coalition that is helping with this as well.
Well, I
Exactly.
understand. Since some people with disabilities need all the help they can get at this time. Right?
Absolutely.
Then I'll continue with the final question. What is the vision for the partnership coalition?
You want you can take
Yeah,
that
I
one,
can.
Jeff, and I
Yeah,
can
I
add
can.
in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, as I alluded to earlier, Michael, we would like to be much more outward looking and connected to our larger community, and that's a different perspective for us, a different way of looking at our group. And we want to invite more people to get involved with us and broaden our the range of people that we are interested in being supportive toward. Would include not only intellectual and developmental disabilities, but all types of disabilities. And so that's also a big shift for us. So I think that's really the first thing I would say is that we want to look outward to our broader community and gain new partners who help us to do that.
And I think it's also about what I see for the partnership coalition. Like Jeff said, reaching out to the broader community, but also for the partnership coalition to be an effective coalition to help make change through what we support, and whatever that is. It could be from disability services, as far as direct support professionals, home health care aides, or a more wide perspective, as we talked about earlier, getting the internet not seen as a not seen as a thing that you get to have fun, but a necessity within everybody's life that it impacts.
Okay. Wow. I have to admit, Jeff and Samuel, I totally understand your vision, because you've mentioned that you want to grow into the community more. You want to invite other communities to participate with you. You want to invite others from organizations to participate with you. You want to invite other advocates to participate with you. Actually, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm an advocate, of course, which is one of the reasons I am an advocating host for SA in Action, and how I'm trying to collaborate with others through a certain project that I have. I'm doing the best I can, just like you guys. I'm proud of you.
Well, thanks, Michael. Back at you. And we meet, as I mentioned a couple times. We meet every month. We meet on the first Tuesday of the month at 10:30 a.m. Our meeting goes about an hour to an hour and a half, so we're done by 11:30, 12 o'clock. And Sam, who's on with us today, of course, he hosts the meeting on Zoom. And so people are welcome to who are interested in this and want to participate are welcome to contact us through Sam and his email address. Is that okay, Sam, if we talk about that, right?
That's fine.
Yeah, Sam's email is S for Sam and then his last name Mattle, SMATTLE, S Mattle, at center, which is the word center, and then the letter 4.
No, the number 4.
Oh, I said the letter 4. Michael, I'm having a hard time with this. It's the number 4 and then the letters SA.org. So it's smattle at center4sa.org. And Sam can give you some more information. If you want to come to a meeting, we are very, happy to welcome you. That goes for you too, Michael.
I see. So with that, allow me to give the final statement to our viewers. To you viewers who have been watching us, I hope you've understood the hard work of the partnership coalition that Jeff and Samuel have been working with. And as we are advocates for the disability community, we hope to do more for people with disabilities so they can enjoy great happiness within their lives, which is what we're aiming for. And we hope you'll stay tuned for more of SA in Action. Jeff and Samuel, say goodbye to your viewers, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Have a good day.